Deregulation has been the dominant mode for managing our airline industry for over 20 years now, going back to 1987. The Americans deregulated their airline industry a little bit earlier, a few years earlier, and then Canada followed along in 1987. And we know what a virtue of financial stability, high quality service, and reliability the U.S. airline industry is. So of course, why wouldn't we follow that model here in Canada? I often wonder, kind of scratching my head at the kind of irrationality and the instability of the deregulated industry, who's actually won under this scenario? Who's actually benefited? Like, if it was a question of the work of the employers just being super greedy and trying to take stuff from us, you know, then you could say, yeah, the workers lost and the bosses won. The failure rate of companies, or disappearance rate of companies that existed prior to deregulation is 100%. All of the companies that were once in business have either merged or restructured themselves or gone bankrupt entirely, which is an incredible record. Everyone recognizes the airline industry has too much capacity. Even WestJet hasn't been filling its seats like it used to. WestJet's load factor has declined substantially this year by about 3 percentage points. Yet their response is to add more capacity. Now, for them, who are hoping that they can drive someone else out of business and get left with a bigger share of the pie, that may be rational. But for the industry as a whole, it is not rational.
The fundamental campaign around building stability in the industry through re-regulation, I think, is going to be key. And we're now in a moment in time where even our Prime Minister is pointing to the need for regulation, who pointed out that it was under-regulation in the banking sector that caused the global financial crisis.
In fact, since 1987, when the industry was deregulated, okay, the cost of air travel in Canada has grown twice as much as the average cost of all the goods and services that we buy. In air transportation, our exports, our so-called exports, have gone nowhere, and our imports have more than doubled. And right now, Canadians buy $2 in air transit services from foreign companies for every $1 that foreigners buy from a Canadian transit service.
I remember when they were trying to decrease the number of flight attendants on aircraft, and flight attendants in my area were contacting me. They had a campaign and they fought and won. There was no decrease in the number of flight attendants on board aircraft.
When we stubbornly try to defend our pensions, as we have done, when we stubbornly try to defend the quality of our work life, in a way we're saying we're resisting deregulation. People are furious about it, and rightly so, and we should be able to harness their fury, not just at Milton, although he deserves a fair share of it, but at the system that produced Milton. We should be thinking about how we can actually restructure and reconstitute a national carrier that we can trust to be here a few years down the road, and that's where raising the issue of public investment again makes sense.